Hey YouTube, this is Floyd Fan since 2000 with another review for Boardwalk Empire. This is season 4, episode 5. This episode was to me the best episode thus far. I loved everything about it. It was a trip. So let's get into it. Starts off with the guys who arrested Nucky's chauffeur. They're having him in this room, and you think they would take him to the police station, but they have him in this like torn down building. They sit him in his chair, and then they basically just want to know what was the exchange between him and that guy, and what Nucky has him do. And he holds off for a while. He doesn't want to say anything, and then they basically just keep him. They claim he can leave. He gets up and tries to leave. They grab his cane and he starts to fall, and then they go, uh-oh, look like you need to stay for a while. You don't need to leave. So they give him, this instigation process where they basically just kind of taunt him. He just wants to leave, really. And then they come with some evidence about his past, and they talk about how he had an affair, how he stole some money, how he disowned his family, and he just really starts to cry and break down. And then he just goes, please, just let me go. They go, well, tell us something. He's like, what do you want me to tell you? What do you want me to tell you? He goes, tell us something. Just tell us something. And you're free to go. And he goes, I gave the guy the money. And then he was just like, well, why did you give it to me? He said, because that's what Nucky told me to do. I gave him the money. That's all I did. He's sobbing and crying, and then what happens is they just let him go, and then he just leaves. He tries to creep into Nucky's house or whatever. Nucky goes, where were you all day? I haven't seen you all day. And he just goes, oh, I was out drinking and stuff. He goes, well, I need to know where you are. I need to not worry about you. And then he just kind of goes, okay. And then Nucky lifts up his pants and looks in and says, I have mismatched socks. And he just kind of goes, okay. He goes and just does what he used to do, and taking care of Nucky in his clothes and everything. And then sad part is that he writes a letter. It looks like he's back to his old self. He actually opens up the window and jumps out of the window and commits suicide. It was a sad way to see Eddie leave like that. I thought he was finally going to be able to be, Nucky's, right-hand man instead of just his like chauffeur. I'm kind of on the fence with how they ended him, but let's just move on for right now. Nucky gets a call in the middle of the night, and it's Eli's son, and he says that he needs him to come to Philadelphia, and he comes, and he basically goes, what happened? They have him in jail, because they are accusing him of killing his friend Henry. And Nucky goes, well, what happened? He goes, is Henry your friend? He goes, no. He goes, I need you to tell me the truth. Please just tell me the truth. And then he goes, is Henry your friend? He goes, yes. He goes, where'd you get the booze? He goes, Maxie Gorton, or whatever the guy who gets on my last nerve's name is, the one who gave him the liquor. He goes, the liquor came from me. He said, he gave you the liquor? He goes, yes. He goes, I didn't want you to know. He said, see, whatever happens, and because I don't know about it, it will always get back to me. And then he goes, now I'm innocent because the liquor came from me. He goes, tell me what he was like, did you kill him or whatever? He just basically asked him what happened. And he lies and says he had nothing to do with it. And then he basically goes to, I guess, the dean of the school and says, this is a misunderstanding, drop the charges, you just dealt with, some of my people, drop the charges, my nephew is innocent. He goes, you see those people out there, those are Henry's parents. He's dead. His father gives a lot of money to the Republic, to the school. This incident has to have somebody accounted for. Somebody killed their son. He goes, okay, well, it wasn't my nephew. He goes, somebody poisoned him. He goes, poisoned. He goes, where are you getting that from? He says, the coroner. He said he had all the symptoms of being poisoned. Then he goes back to Eli and Eli's son and goes, who slipped him the Mickey? I need to know the truth. And then he basically tells him the truth that he slipped him the Mickey, and that he was like, well, what did he do to deserve? He goes, he basically just humiliated me. I didn't like him. He didn't like me. He said, and it was just supposed to be for fun. He said, but he said, did anybody else know about you, poisoning him? He goes, well, my friend Clayton, or my roommate. He goes, your roommate. He goes, okay. So basically he sits down with group of people, and he tells him what to say that he drunk a lot, that he was a friend, and that basically that's what happened. And then he comes back to his college, and Nucky tells him that he's going to graduate, he's going to take care of it, Eli's not going to know anything about what happened, and that he will have to change schools. He may have to change schools, but he will graduate. He goes, you may hate yourself now, but you'll look back on this. He goes, that rage, that anger, you need to try to control it. You need to use it. And see, Nucky, he is so rotten. I like Nucky, but what he did was pretty cold. And, his roommate comes in, and Nucky leaves, and he basically tells his roommate's like, what happened? How'd you get off? He basically goes, I need to study. Leave me alone. His roommate goes to the library, I guess, and they arrest him for the murder. And the girl comes in, she goes, oh my God, you don't know, your roommate, he just got arrested for killing Henry. Oh my God, how could he do it? Starts crying, and he hugs her, and then he's just basically sitting there thinking like, wow, I had to frame an innocent person, my roommate, for something I did just so I wouldn't have to go to jail. And you can tell he kind of looks up to Nucky more than his father, because he knows his father would beat him. And it's just a sad. Jillian, we're going to get to Jillian. She is basically trying to get her son, or her grandson Tommy, back. She's in the lawyer's or judge's office, and basically, she's having withdrawals from her drugs. She hasn't had any drugs in a while, and she basically says, I want my grandson back. I couldn't sleep. He goes, what's wrong with you? I couldn't sleep. Tommy not being there is just so hard for me. She basically tries to break a glass, and he comes over to try to, wrap her hand because it was bleeding. Then she puts her hand on his private and goes, is there anything I could do? Anything I could do right now? And then he looks at her and goes, I think it'd be best if you leave my office immediately. And she basically leaves, and then she goes to Dunn, who is selling heroin, and she wants some heroin. And he, she gives him, I think, a couple dollars, some change, and he goes, well, that's not enough. And she goes, it's all I have. And then she says, is there anything else I can do to get some heroin? And then he looks at her, and then he pulls her arm up, and he tells the guy to get the heroin, pulls her arm up, looks at her arm, and goes, go easy now. And I think she now is realizing that these drugs are just destroying her life. She used to be able to sleep around and get what she wanted. Now she can't even do that. She's looking like a straight up crackhead, and that's why nobody wants her. And she goes to the school to try to kidnap Tommy, who he just looks at her. He doesn't know her, doesn't like her. She goes, oh, I bought you something. Me and you were going to go home. Come on. Then Julia comes and goes, come on, Tommy, we're going to walk this way. She takes him, and then the guards or the teachers, tell her to leave, grab her. She has to go. They're basically, Al Capone and his brother, who I really like. Am I the only one who thinks his brother is so cute? Al Capone and his brother pick up George Mueller, aka Van Alden. They go to try to get the people who are voting Democrat to voting Democrat to vote Republic. The people who come out of there, he gives them a gun. Turns out a big old fight happens, and Al Capone brother gets killed, and Al Capone is just distraught over. He's like, oh no! But Al Capone really won't listen. His brother's trying to tell him, let's go, use your head for once. But he's all high on cocaine. and he ends up being the reason why his brother gets killed. They are beating him down, and then somebody comes with a whole lot of guns and they just shoot up Al Capone's brother. It was really sad. I liked his brother. I thought he was cute. Anyway, that was Boardwalk Empire. It was very good. Can't wait to see the next episode. Rate, comment, and subscribe. And follow me on Twitter at O's Midnight Love, and that's OS_midnight_LUV. Follow me on Instagram at DrinkMeUp21, and I'll see you next week. Peace.